When I pulled up to my old cabin in the valley after 20 long years, I didn't expect a welcome party. But there she was, arms crossed, sunglasses glinting in the afternoon sun, and a clipboard clutched like a weapon. Her name, as I would learn soon enough, was Corinne a Broken Bar, and she was the self-proclaimed queen of the new hoe that had taken over this once peaceful valley. "Excuse me, sir," she barked before I even got out of my truck. "This area is private property now. You can't just drive in here without clearance from the homeowners association." I laughed softly, thinking she was joking. "Ma'am," I said, "this is my cabin. Been here since 1988. I built it with my own two hands." Her eyes narrowed, the kind of look that could peel paint. "That's impossible. All properties in the valley fall under the jurisdiction of the Blue Ridge Valley Home. You'll need to pay fees, sign the maintenance agreement, and remove that eyesore." She pointed at my cabin and my sanctuary as if it were a crime scene. It took every bit of restraint not to burst out laughing again. Instead, I pulled out a weathered folder from my glove box. Inside were the original land deeds, maps, and ownership documents dating back to my grandfather, who first settled the land when there wasn't another soul for 50 miles. I held it out. "You might want to read this carefully, ma'am," I said, my tone calm but sharp. "Because that eyesore sits on property that isn't just Minia, it is the valley." But Karen wasn't one to be swayed by facts. She snatched the papers, glanced over them with exaggerated disinterest, and scoffed. "Anyone can print old documents. We have new bylaws now. You'll need to comply." I shook my head, feeling that familiar burn of anger in my chest. The valley had always been my family's refuge, a place untouched by noise, politics, or greed. But looking around, I saw how much it had changed. Luxury homes dotted the ridges, paved roads cut through the meadows where wildflowers once grew, and there were whole regulations signs every few hundred feet. The place had lost its soul. I took a deep breath. "Ma'am," I said, "I'm not under your home. In fact, the land you're standing on belongs to me." Her smirk didn't fade. "That's not how this works. We have authority here." She stormed off, phone in hand, probably calling the other board members or whoever gave her that sense of power. I sighed, unlocked the cabin, and stepped inside. Dust swirled in the air, carrying the scent of pine and old memories. Every corner reminded me of my late wife, Emily, of the laughter we shared, the summers we spent watching the sunset from the porch. After she passed, I couldn't bring myself to return. But now, seeing how this place was being claimed by people like Karen, something inside me woke up again. By evening, 2 SUVs rolled up. Out came 3 men in polos with whole logos embroidered on their chests. One carried a clipboard, another had a drone camera, and the third wore a badge like he was a deputy. Karen strutted behind them, triumphant. "Sir," one of them began, "you're trespassing on managed land under HOA protection. We're going to have to ask you to vacate immediately until ownership is verified." "Fair enough," I said, stepping outside with my folder again. "Let's verify it right now." I laid the papers across the hood of my truck: official county records, registered surveys, and a notarized document with my name on every acre of the Blue Ridge Valley. "You see this boundary line?" I traced it with my finger. "Everything inside up this cabin, the trees, the creek, and even that shiny subdivision up the hill was purchased by my grandfather in 1923. Never sold, never divided, never transferred." Karen leaned in, her mouth twitching. "That can't be right. The HOA bought this land from the developer years ago." I looked her dead in the eye. "And that developer leased Ida from me." Silence. The men exchanged uncertain glances. I went on. "The lease expired 5 years ago. When they defaulted on their payments, the rights reverted back to me. I could have evicted everyone the day it expired. But I didn't. I wanted to see if people would respect the land. Instead, they paved over it, cut down trees, and built rules to control each other." Karen's face turned crimson. "That's ridiculous. You can't just claim the entire valley." "I don't have to claim it," I said softly. "I already own it." The men checked the documents carefully. One of them stepped aside to make a call. After a few minutes, he returned looking pale. "He's right. he said. County records confirm it. The land hasn't changed hands since 1923. Karen's jaw dropped. Her clipboard slipped from her hands and hit the dirt. She stammered. "Boat a broken bar, but we have bylaws." "Rules?" I nodded. "Rules you made for land that isn't yours." The next few weeks were chaos for the home. Meetings were called, lawyers were hired, and homeowners demanded answers. I watched it all unfold quietly, fixing up my cabin, repainting the porch, restoring the old garden Emily loved. I wasn't out for revenge, I just wanted peace, but sometimes, peace requires a little reckoning. One day, as I was splitting firewood, Karen showed up again. This time, no clipboard, no sunglasses, just tired eyes. "I didn't know," she said quietly. "We all thought the developer owned it. I was just a broken bar trying to protect the neighborhood." I set down the axe and looked at her. "You wanted control, not protection. There's a difference." She nodded slowly, the fight gone from her. "What happens now?" I smiled faintly. "You can stay. All of you can. I'm not kicking anyone out, but the valley's rules are changing. No more home. No more fines for flower pots or mailbox colors. People can live freely again like it used to be." She blinked, clearly stunned. "You're serious?" "I am," I said, "but I expect one thing in return: a respect for the land. Stop treating it like a gated playground. It's not just property, it's history. It's home." Karen didn't say much after that. She just nodded and left quietly. And for the first time since I came back, I felt the valley breathe again. Over time, the signs came down. The fences opened. Neighbors who had barely spoken started sharing food and helping each other fix roofs and plant trees. The place slowly returned to what it once was: a living, breathing community instead of a grid of rules. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, I sat on my porch, listening to the creek flow, the same way I had done decades ago with Emily beside me. The valley glowed in gold, free once more. That's when I realized something: power doesn't come from titles or clipboards. It comes from stewardship, from love for the place and people around you. Karen learned it the hard way, but she learned it. And as for me, I finally found peace again, knowing that my valley, our valley, was in good hands. Because in the end, the valley didn't need an home. It just needed heart.